I had already done the video on Macross a few days ago. However, I was not satisfied with it and I deleted it, scrapped it, gonna start over again. I've done episodes 1 through 14. I watched Do You Remember Love first, which is like a high production best of version of the series. But you have to respect the series itself, despite that its animation is terrible at many times. Because for 39 episodes, you get a lot of really important development that is just rushed in the movie, whichever way you want to look at it. The movie is still legendary, but with the series, there's one really interesting thing I've noticed watching the series and the movie. When you watch the movie, the viewers absolutely want Minmay to be the one that Hikaru picks. But Misa becomes the one that's chosen, and even I was thinking to myself, in Do You Remember Love, why Misa? There should have been Minmay. But when you watch the series, you get to really... There's so much development that is done with Misa and Minmay. You get to really see their flaws a lot more, especially Minmay's. Minmay actually comes off as snobby and bratty, which surprised me. Misa's development feels much better. How she is so by the book, so strict, that her crew is scared of how strict she is. She begins to open up as Hikaru is constantly saving her. So by episode 14, she's opened up to Hikaru, and now she's more bubbly, more happy. Even Captain Global tells Misa that he noticed that she gave a really, really good laugh for once in her life. The story revolves around humans who are reached a sort of decline. They find some alien technology and decide to modify it, and it became known as the Macross, a humongous, I think it was a 3-kilometer long mecha that is also that can shapeshift into a ship into a Gundam type shape. Eventually, an alien race called the Zentradi come near, and Macross automatically fires at them, as without the humans wanting it to happen. Thus, the war gets started, and the humans begin fighting the Zentradi. Now, the Zentradi could easily kill all the humans if they wanted to. They have such a humongous force, fleets for so many fleets, but they won't destroy the humans because the leadership is interested in the Macross, and they want to study it. And so as they fight the humans, they really just want to capture the Macross. But even then, their plans don't work because the humans are also very competent. They don't know how to use the Macross. They're constantly finding out mysteries about it, but they're able to improvise and use untested maneuvers to fight off the aliens time and time again. There's also they have a military where Hikaru was a civilian at first, but gets involved and becomes a very decent pilot. There's also Roy, who I will call Major Fun because his last name sounds like a curse word. I think I'm going to refer to him as Major Fun. Major Fun is this big hotshot pilot, very, very good. He has a great sense of humor, very wholesome laughs. He is very close to Hikaru. He's also very much a jokester too. And then as Hikaru moves up the ranks, he gains subordinates. Max is one of them. The other one, I forgot his name. I just know him as the Ugly Man, as I will explain later. So, as the series develops on, the love triangle begins to form. As Hikaru and Minmay had some time to be together, and they get close. In Do You Remember Love, I think they were only lost for like a day, but in Macross, the series, they're 2 weeks stuck in the Macross without help until they get saved by chance. But during those 2 weeks, they practically fall in love with each other. I don't know whether Minmay was doing it because she was about to die and wanted to have somebody before she died, or if she sincerely likes Hikaru. Either way, Hikaru fell in love, but he gets hurt later because Minmay refers to him as a friend, and Hikaru overhears this. Maybe Minmay said it because she wanted the people that are teasing her to back off, but either way, Hikaru took it very personal and would use it against Minmay later on. Minmay would eventually encourage Hikaru to join the military, but Minmay is very delusional. She doesn't understand the stakes here, the risks. Yes, she has faith in Hikaru that he'll be a great pilot, but she needs to understand that he could die. He might not come back, And it's not to be cynical, it's not to think negative, but she has to understand the risks, and she doesn't. And even Hikaru notices this, but just gives up, doesn't even bother explaining to her what's at stake here. But Hikaru also notices that Minmay is becoming popular. She becomes Miss Macross. It's hilarious to see that this very famous woman thought for sure she would win, and Minmay even fell during her performance. But Minmay wins, and she also ends up becoming an idol, and the viewers get to hear her first song, My Boyfriend's a Pilot. Hikaru felt this has something to do with him, but Minmay told him no, it's just a joke. But Hikaru doesn't know how he feels about Minmay becoming so big, because he feels that she'll just forget about him, that she'll become so famous. Why would she bother with some small little insignificant pilot? At least that's kind of like what Hikaru was thinking. But they're still close, regardless, and Hikaru is making a name for himself as well. Hikaru does not get along very well with Misa at first. He calls her an old lady. Even the Macross crew are laughing at her. And of course, Major Fun decides to go with it and call her an old lady as well. And you know, poor Misa, I like the animation, how she's just shaking with anger and just goes off on all of them. He tells Major Fun, well, make sure when you land, you don't kill yourself. If there's one thing that this series really nails, it's the comedy. That's because director, scriptwriter, storyboard writer, episode director, Noboru Ishiguro, his specialty is comedy. And that's why Macross is just a hilarious series. He also will go on later on to direct Legend of the Galactic Heroes, which amazing series. But this is sort of like his root. Macross is like his roots before he would move on to that space opera. So what makes Macross funny? The Zentradi, this thing called Protoculture, where the Zentradi have lost. They're modified humans who lost their culture. Thus, they don't understand the humans, or what they call myclones. This starts to. They kind of hint at it first when they hijack Hikaru's spaceship, when Hikaru was looking at the Miss Macross contest, and the soldiers see the woman wearing the bikini, and they feel this strange excitement coming from them. And at first they think it's like the bikini is like a battle armor that is like a psychological weapon that is messing with their emotions. It's just women wearing a bikini, but this starts to wake up the culture within them, and they become stunned or unable to fight. They become very vulnerable and easily beaten. Misa and Hikaru would come to realize this and use Protoculture against them by kissing each other. But there's a part where Misa gets captured and Hikaru goes with his subordinates to go rescue her. They get captured anyways. They end up meeting some of the higher ups of the Zentradi, and the Zentradi are just curious. They are sincerely curious about what the humans are. So they ask Misa, like, about the humans, and Misa decides to be stubborn and almost gets all of humanity killed and the Earth because she would not answer simple questions. Hikaru had to step in, so they tell the Zentradi that humans live, men and women live together. They make love to reproduce. There's a thing called love, mothers, and the Zentradi are just confused. They don't know what love is. They don't know what a mother is. They don't know what making love is. They don't know what kissing is. I just find it absurd how they just asking the humans, okay, what is this? What is that? And eventually they tell Hikaru, we demand you show us what a kiss is. And so Hikaru tells Misa we have to kiss. And Misa doesn't want to, neither does Hikaru. So one of Hikaru's subordinates is there, forgot his name, but Misa tells Hikaru, you know what, I better kiss you because the other guy, he's pretty ugly. So they kiss. And the Zentradi, they gasp. They back off. They get shocked and they say, Protoculture. And they're just having a meltdown because a man and a woman are kissing. That's when Misa and Hikaru begin to think about, okay, so this is Protoculture. It seems to be useful in distracting them and making them vulnerable. So Protoculture is a weapon that can be used against the Zentradi. So Misa and Hikaru try to use it again to escape. And it works, but by that time Max had saved them, so they kind of kiss for nothing. Another thing that's funny is that the Zentradi sent 3 of their spies into the Macross. They successfully came in, and they really had no idea what they were in store for. As soon as they come in, they see people wearing clothes, and they just assume that it's like battle uniforms. And when they see people in different parts of the ship wearing different types of clothes, they think to themselves, is this, you need to wear specific types of suits for different places? They just don't know what human culture is. So they break into a changing room, steal some clothes. One of them takes women's clothing, not knowing that it's women's clothing. As they go around the Macross, they start to look at the fun side of the Macross. They look at the how people live in the city, go to bars, have fun, go shopping, and they're just perplexed by what's going on. But because one of them is wearing women's clothing, they're getting a lot of attention towards themselves. One of them also accidentally bumps into a woman and grabs her breast by accident, and she slaps him in the face. And the Zentradi is thinking to himself, "What did I do wrong? What just happened? Why did I get attacked?" Eventually, they will go to Minmei's concert, and they get to enjoy the song. And again, it wakes up the culture inside of them, and they feel like they're being attacked by some kind of like weapon. When it's just Minmei singing, they decide to get drunk and just take a day off and have fun. So they begin to succumb to protoculture, unfortunately. Besides that, I like Captain Global. He's the captain of the Macross, but he's very silly and clumsy. He keeps hitting his head on the doorway. He keeps forgetting the rules that he can't smoke, but he can't admit that he's wrong. He just says, "Oh, I'll just hold in the pipe in my mouth." Oye, minero. Yeah. That's basically Macross. Thank you for listening.